Welcome to the universe in a seashell, the podcast dedicated to science, life, and girl power. I'm Kara Bartek and I'm your host. I'm a PhD, an author, and I want to make this world a more equal and opportune place, one girl at a time. And welcome to the Universe in a Seashell podcast dedicated to science, life, and
girl power.
It feels like it's been forever since we've said that.
It has.
But it feels good to be back in a routine, right?
It has.
Well, you know, life has definitely been different ever since the pandemic started.
And we had to do the lockdown.
Yes. First of all, I have been feeling completely stir crazy and without a schedule.
Yeah, because we're like cooped up in the house and we're like, I want something to do.
Yeah.
Like everything's shut down. Ugh. And we can't go to restaurants. It's like, what are we supposed to do?
I know. It's definitely changed our lives for sure.
It really has.
Okay, one thing that I want to talk about is a life-changing accessory that we've been wearing a lot lately.
I think it's going to become a normal accessory.
And that's the mask.
Yes.
Now, Caroline, did you know that there's a science behind mask wearing and the reasons why we wear a mask?
I did not know that.
Well, that's what we're going to be talking about today on the podcast. But before we begin, I just want to give everybody a quick reminder. If you're enjoying the podcast, if you like what you're hearing, please make sure that you hit that subscription or notification button, whatever pod app that you are listening to. Also, give us a rating and review because that definitely raises the visibility of the podcast so other kids can find out about all of the silly things that we're talking about.
Like boogers.
All of my lame jokes, all of Caroline's pretty good jokes. She's got some good ones. You can also drop me a line at universeinaseashell@gmail.com. You can give me ideas for shows. You could give me feedback, or you could just say hi. Maybe I could give you a shout out.
Hi.
All right, so let's talk about masks, because masks are kind of weird. Like, I've never worn a face mask.
You can't breathe unless you have those little air things on them.
Well, let's talk about people who wear masks. So I think
doctors I've seen before wearing it.
Well, okay, so I've worn masks, but really only at Halloween.
Yeah.
Okay, like a Halloween mask. And that's just like one night a year.
Yeah. But now we're having to wear them every single day of the week.
Every single day of the week. But, you know, like you said, there are people who wear them all the time.
Even before this pandemic.
Okay, and it's like, just like you said, doctors.
Like doctors
nurses,
who do surgery and stuff.
Nurses, certain people who work with, like, noxious chemicals or maybe dangerous viruses.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk about, okay, so what is the purpose behind a mask? Okay, so not a Halloween mask where we look like a rabbit or a dog or whatever it is that we're dressing up as.
This is where we look like
silly, crazy people.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
It's not that kind of mask. So this is a totally different mask. So really, what is the purpose behind doctors, nurses, chemists, virologists? Why do they wear masks?
What I've been told is that we use it so we don't sneeze or cough on anyone.
No, but I'm saying, why do those people wear the masks?
I really don't know. That's a good question. I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm trying to get you to explore. So let's think about it. So why do doctors, why do nurses, why do people who handle dangerous chemicals or dangerous diseases, why do they wear the mask?
So they don't get sick.
There you go. So it's a protection, right?
Yeah. They have those face shields.
Yeah. But what is it about the face that's so important?
We have a nose that can sneeze. We have a mouth that can cough.
Yeah. But what else can happen? So we're talking about things that can go out, but what about that reversal in that whole thing? What could happen to us personally?
If we're not wearing a mask around someone who's also not wearing a mask, we could breathe in a germ.
Yeah, because if germs can go out, then germs can definitely go in, right? Okay, and I've heard before that really the main way to introduce germs into our bodies is through our faces.
Sneezing on people, achoo. Them sneezing on you, achoo.
But in our face, okay? So we're not going to get it through our hands. We're not going to get it through our feet in general. It's going to be all about the face.
Like you might get it on your hand and then you wipe your face.
Right, touch your eyes. But so that's really why people who, before the pandemic, were wearing masks, were wearing them, right? Protection. Okay.
Before this pandemic.
Okay, so I definitely did some research into what is the exact science behind mask wearing, and I want to talk about that, okay? So I went to the University of California, San Francisco, and they had a fabulous resource put up all about masks. So they posed everything basically as to why is it that we're doing it, okay? Because that's kind of the question,
right? Why do we wear masks?
Right.
Why?
Because, okay, so it's definitely hard, right? If you're in the grocery store, maybe you're hot, and then, like, you burp into your mask and you feel like you're going to vomit, okay? That's, like, the gross side of wearing a mask.
Like, after you eat and then you burp and it comes back in your face, you're like, ew.
And so you're kind of going, okay, why am I wearing this mask? Well, let's talk about the reasons, okay?
Okay.
All right. So what evidence do we have that wearing a mask is effective in preventing COVID-19? Okay, so that's why we're wearing it right now. So according to UC San Francisco, there are several strands of evidence as to why masks are effective. Okay, one category of evidence comes from laboratory studies of respiratory droplets. Okay, what's that? What's a respiratory droplet?
Your pee?
No.
Your boogers?
Yeah. We're not talking about diapers. We're talking about face masks. So let's move up the body above the neck. No toilet humor, okay? Respiratory droplets, okay? Let's try this again.
When I thought of droplets.
Okay, let's try it one more time. What are respiratory droplets?
Your boogers?
Yeah, boogers, spit, all that stuff that's coming out of your nose and your mouth. Okay, so laboratory studies of respiratory droplets and the ability of various masks to block them. Okay, so you've definitely seen people sneeze. Achoo!
I've seen it plenty of times.
What comes out?
Snot.
It's like a big wave of just like, it's like a spray, right? It's like a water bottle. Yeah, spraying like up in the air. It's the most disgusting waterfall you could imagine. Okay, so let's talk about what these studies show. An experiment using high-speed video found that hundreds of droplets ranging from 20 to 500 micrometers were generated when saying a simple phrase, okay? So listen, just talking, like you and I sitting here talking without a mask on, we are creating droplets of spit and boogers. I know
at least for family.
And I know that I've definitely accidentally spit on people before when I've been talking. I've even accidentally spit out a mint before while I was talking. Yeah, okay. But nearly all of these droplets were blocked when the mouth was covered by a damp washcloth. Okay, so you've got hundreds of droplets coming out when all you're doing is talking. So we haven't even talked about sneezing or burping or any of the gross things of expelling spit into the air. Okay, so this is just regular talking. Okay, hundreds of droplets can come out, but if you just use a damp washcloth, you block basically everything.
A damp washcloth.
I definitely saw a lot of spit come out on that one. So let's think about it. So what do you think a mask does?
It protects the spit from getting into your friend.
Yeah. Okay, another study of people who had influenza or the common cold found that wearing a surgical mask significantly reduced the amount of these respiratory viruses emitted in droplets and aerosols. Okay, so aerosols basically means airborne gunk. Okay. Okay, the strongest evidence in favor of masks come from studies of real-world scenarios. Okay, now this is a quote. The most important thing are the epidemiological data. Okay, now epidemiological data. Epidemiology is basically a big fancy word for studying diseases.
Study like academic, sort of.
Epidemic. Epidemic with an E. Okay, and this is a big like $10 word. Epidemiological. Epidemiologic. Okay, look that one up. That's big.
Epidemiological.
Okay, so it's
I didn't get it.
Now, basically, that's the study of diseases and the spread of them. And why do you think that would be important right now? Because what are
COVID-19, a pandemic.
Yeah, we're talking a lot about diseases and how they spread, in particular, the coronavirus, COVID-19, okay? The epidemiological evidence has come from experiments in nature, okay? So, because we can't really set up a study where we intentionally transmit a disease from one to the other, right? That's not cool, right?
No.
So what epidemiologists or the people who study the spread of diseases are doing, they're looking at real world data. Okay, a recent study published in Health Affairs, for example, compared the COVID-19 growth rate before and after mask mandates in 15 states and the District of Columbia. Now, what do you think that they found?
What?
What do you think they found?
That there was more cases before the mask mandate?
Well, let's find out. It found that mask mandates led to a slowdown in daily COVID-19 growth rate, which became more apparent over time. The first 5 days after a mask mandate, the daily growth rate slowed by 0.9 percentage points compared to the 5 days prior to the mandate. Okay, so basically, if we translate that, mask wearing definitely slows down the spread of COVID-19.
It does.
According to this study, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Another study looked at coronavirus deaths across 198 countries and found those with cultural norms or government policies favoring mask wearing had lower death rates. Okay, what do you think I mean when I say cultural norms?
Like culture?
Yeah, it's in their culture that when somebody's sick or maybe there is a disease that's spreading, they wear a mask.
It's just normal.
It's normal. In a lot of Asian countries, they do that. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, what are we finding? Masks do what?
Masks help stop the spread.
Why? What is the mechanism or what is the action behind wearing the mask?
It keeps you from sneezing and coughing on your neighbor.
By doing what? What is that mask doing?
By covering your face.
Yeah, it's creating a barrier. Okay.
Kind of like a wall and you.
Absolutely. So it's literally creating just a cloth barrier between you and the outside world. Okay? So we're talking about you wearing the mask to protect others. So let's keep going and see what else the science says about wearing a mask. Do masks protect the people wearing them or the people around them? What do you think?
No. They do not protect. Yes, they do, maybe? I don't know.
Well, what do you think? So do you think wearing a mask, so we definitely said that it protects the people around you. But what do you think about, do you think it would help you wearing a mask? Because you're wearing a mask at school, right?
Yeah, and I'm not sick yet.
Okay, so let's see what it says. This is a quote. I think there's enough evidence to say that the best benefit is for people who have COVID-19 to protect them from giving COVID-19 to other people, but you're still going to get a benefit from wearing a mask if you don't have COVID-19, okay? Masks may be more effective as a, quote, source control, unquote, because they can prevent larger expelled droplets from evaporating into smaller droplets that can travel further. Another factor to remember is that you could still catch the virus through the membranes in your eyes, a risk that masking does not eliminate. Okay, so let's unpack these statements here. Go ahead.
So I think that's why the teachers have to wear those face shields.
Okay, well let's unpack these statements, okay? So the first statement they said, okay, if you are sick with COVID-19, wearing a mask will definitely protect those around you, okay? But if you're already sick, it's obviously not protecting you, right?
No.
Because you're already sick. The second statement says that wearing the mask can actually break up the big droplets, like the huge boogers and big things of spit and respiratory droplets, right, that come out and kind of break them up into smaller ones, right? But you have to remember that there's another area that the virus could come in, and what's that?
Your eyes.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's why they say don't touch your face, right? Wash your hands, don't touch your face.
It's hard to not touch my face.
As you're touching your face. Okay, so how many people need to wear a mask to reduce overall transmission of COVID-19? Okay, this is what the experts at UC San Francisco are saying. What you want is 100% of people to wear a mask, but you'll settle for 80%. In one simulation, researchers predicted that 80% of the population wearing masks would do more to reduce COVID-19 spread than a strict lockdown. What do you think about that?
I like that better. Wearing a mask is way more fun than having to be on lockdown.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like I could deal with wearing a mask, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what do you think about the types of masks? Do you think that that's something that actually matters?
I don't really know.
Okay, so
I don't think it matters.
Harry Potter versus Spider-Man versus Batman. You don't think it matters?
Versus Iron Man.
Well, you definitely mentioned your teachers are wearing something totally different. What's that?
That plastic face shield.
Okay. And so what is the point of the face shield?
I guess it's so like they can get up close to you and talk to you without us spitting on them.
Okay. And what else is it protecting besides the nose and the mouth?
Their eyes.
Absolutely. Okay, so it's kind of like more of a facial coverage. Okay, so studies have compared various mask materials, but for the general public, the most important consideration may be comfort. Oh my goodness, I'm so glad that they said that. Because let me tell you, I've got like kind of a big nose, and I was wearing like those small masks, and they were like squishing down my nose.
She gave me her old mask, and it was like stretched out.
Yeah, that's from my nose, but it still squished my nose all up. And I also had makeup all over it, didn't I?
Yeah,
it was pretty gross.
It was like orange, and it smelled like oranges.
Oh yeah, I was eating some oranges in my mask one day.
Slip it through and eat it.
The best mask is one that you can wear comfortably and consistently. So talk about your mask. Is yours comfortable?
Mine is not really. I can't really breathe through it.
Really?
I like to breathe. I like to breathe.
But it's kind of like a soft, flexible cloth mask, right?
Yeah, kind of like dry fit.
Yeah, and so it seems like it's cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have like a neck thing so you don't lose it.
Yeah, the lanyard.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like it's definitely like you haven't passed out or anything or like accidentally swallowed it. So like you're doing good, right? Oh, I definitely caught Penny drinking water through her mask with a straw. I don't even know how that happened. I don't even know. But that's definitely not recommended in normal mask wearing, okay? Not recommended, not recommended. Okay, so if we're practicing social distancing, do we actually still need to wear masks? Like, if we're staying 6 feet apart, like, is it necessary for us to
We
still wear
have to
masks?
stand an arm length apart. So, and we can't be touching each other. So, that's what they make us do.
Well, okay. This is what the experts are saying in my study. There is little evidence that droplets from surfaces like tables, doorknobs, and all of that kind of good stuff are a huge source of transmission. Apparently, where the biggest source of transmission is droplets that are inhaled, okay? Yeah, so if somebody's sneezing, right? And it's just like all in the air, and you like walk by and it's like all in your face and your ears and everything, that's a big deal. And that's a source of transmission, okay? And so what could the mask do to prevent that?
It would cover your face so you don't breathe it in through your nose.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. But should you always wear masks and socially distance? What do you think?
Yeah.
Okay. They're saying, this is what the experts are saying, I wouldn't parse it apart, meaning like you don't have to separate the two, but I think mask wearing is much more important than socially distancing. Yeah. So that was kind of surprising to me because I thought for sure the social distancing was like ahead of the mask wearing.
My teacher says we can get together only if we're wearing our mask.
Okay. Yeah. So anyway, so the basic take-home message is that masks trap our boogers. They trap our coronavirus, right? Spraying out in the air. It protects other people.
Achoo!
It may not necessarily protect us because, our eyes are still going to be exposed and you can't touch your eyes. Gotta wash your hands, all of that kind of good stuff.
Sanitize constantly, wipe your desk.
Yeah. And mask wearing may be more important than actually socially distancing. That was a huge revelation to me.
It really was.
But anyway, so I want to know, what kind of masks are you guys wearing? I'm so curious. Mine is just a plain black mask, and I have a gray one.
Please take a picture so we can see.
Oh, that would be amazing. Okay.
I'll take a picture of mine.
Yes.
All of mine.
Because you've got a couple. You know what? We'll make a video. We'll make a video
of me styling them.
Okay. You saw a Harry Potter mask recently.
Yes.
Okay, I think some of my favorite masks are the ones that have, like, the mouth on there. Like, crazy, like, vampire things.
Oh, yeah, like, they have the masks that look like puppy mouths and stuff.
No, it's pretty cute. That's pretty cute.
They have those gaiters.
I've seen, like, a lady wearing one time that looked like a man's, like, beard face. I thought that was pretty funny. We had to get one that has, like, an actual beard on there. Like, some mustache. That'd be cool.
Dad doesn't need one. He already has one.
He's already got one. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the podcast. Remember, you can always drop us a line at universeinaseashell@gmail.com. And make sure that you hit that subscription and notification button and send us a rating and review. Thank you so much for listening.
And please send us a picture of your masks. Bye.